right, welcome back everybody. So this week we are looking at the return of the CIC 2K polyurethane. Let's get to it. All right, so I was really excited to get this product. I asked the head chemist from CIC if he would send me some, because 2K polys are all the buzz, and I used to use this product and it was kind of discontinued because of lack of interest. But now, since 2Ks are hot again, I asked him if he would send me some of the clear and the white so that I could retest it and show you guys and see if a lot of you might be interested in the product. All right, so before we do our chemical test and all that, you can see that this has a little bit of orange peel to it, and that's because I shot this with a turbine system with no reduction. And then I'm going to talk about the different systems and my recommendations for you on that. So let's take a look at the chemical resistance with our denatured alcohol. And we'll let that flash off. All right, so denatured alcohol, absolutely no effect whatsoever. All right, let's take a look at the lacquer thinner. We'll let it flash. All right, so the lacquer thinner, no effect. And then let's look at the acetone. And that pretty much has no effect as well. One other thing, in case your kid draws a nice picture of a stick man on your cabinets like mine did, then you don't have to really worry too much. You can just take a little bit of acetone and wipe him off. All right, so that's kind of fun. All right, so let's look at the Mar resistance of the coating. All right, so the Mar resistance, it's even hard. It's not even denting the wood. It's just kind of denting the coating on it. So the Mar resistance is excellent on this. I'll give that again. Yeah, it's almost really hard to scratch it. So we're good there. And then we'll look at the adhesion. All right, our crosshatch. That's funny, it pulled the wood fiber out. So adhesion is so good that it will pull the fibers right out of the wood. Wow, that's kind of interesting. Dang. So adhesion is excellent. So let me give you my final thoughts on the product. All right, so what are my final thoughts? Well, I think if you want one of the best 2K polyurethanes on the market, I think you should take a look at the CIC. So some technical information that I got from the head chemist of CIC that I wanted to discuss. First off, this is a 4-to-1 ratio product, or roughly 20%. So you're going to add 20% hardener, or if you want to count it in parts, the 4-to-1, you can do it that way as well, whatever is convenient for you. Now, I would recommend when you add this catalyst not to just dump it in. I would have 2 mixing cups and add it slowly while under mechanical stir until it kind of like starts puffing up and getting thick, and then you're pretty much good to go. Now, let's talk about reduction for a second. There's kind of a couple ways you can do this. You can reduce it with water is one way, up to 20%. That's the max, because at that point, if you go over that, you're just going to have problems with runs and sags on vertical surfaces, because this stuff does thin pretty quickly. So you don't really have to thin it that much, but for whatever reason, if you did, I like to know the limits. If you want to reduce it chemically with like a butyl cellulose,
You can do that no more than 5%, or you can use EB up to 2 to 3%, but don't go beyond that because it's a slower evaporating solvent. When you reduce it, make sure that you reduce it after you mix it together, because if you don't, it can mess with the cross-linking of the coating together with the isocyanate and the coating. All right, so you always want to do your reduction after. Also, if you're using the butyl cellulose or the EB, the chemist's recommendation is to do a 1-to-1 mixture with water. So 1 part water, 1 part butyl cellulose, and then do your reduction. All right. As far as the pot life is concerned, it's 4 to 6 hours, but that is also dependent on ambient temperature. So keep that in mind. And he did recommend that if you go over 6 hours, that he would just say toss the product at that point. So 6 hours is going to be your max at any point, even if it's not starting to congeal and set up. As far as how it shoots, this is a really easy product to use, which I really like. I think it's a little bit easier than the milesi because the thinning is so much easier. This was shot with a 4-stage turbine with a 1.8 needle nozzle reduced at 10%, and you can see what I got. Now this was the countertop I did that people saw on Instagram that everybody likes so much, and if you want some other pictures you can go look at that. But what I did on this was I used the Axalata wiping stain, which is an oil-based stain, and because it was oil-based, one of the tricks that you can do if you're using water-based is to seal it with a vinyl sealer so that you can get a quicker production time. So I let the stain dry for an hour, shot it with the vinyl sealer, waited about 45 minutes, sanded it, then 2 coats of this. Now, I will tell you that one of the drawbacks to kind of any 2K polyurethane in this product is that it will flash off and kind of look like this. But if you try to sand it too soon, it's going to ball up on you. So you really got to wait, and it depends on, again, the ambient temperature, at the least an hour, you know, sometimes 2 to 3 hours, depends on that. This product doesn't sand quite as well as the milesi does. The milesi powders up a lot better. This one's a little bit harder to sand. All right, so this is exterior rated, so you can use this outside. So my application for this is going to be somebody that wants, you know, a super durable kitchen cabinets, bar tops, any type of commercial hospital work, anything like that. This is where you want to use this product. All right, so that wraps it up for me. If you want to get this product, you need to talk to Greg Saunders at NX Paint. He does have it on order. He's got flat, satin, and gloss. If you want a semi-gloss, you can mix the satin and gloss to get the gloss level you want. Or if you want something in between the 10 and 30 sheen, you can mix the flat and the satin together. He also is going to carry it in the pigmented, and these are all tintable to any color that your heart desires. Jake is the man over at NX Paint for tinting. Shout out to Jake on that. He nails it every time. So if you're worried about that, don't be, because he'll nail it. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Catch me on Instagram at Eric Reason and Facebook. And remember, above all, test, don't guess. We'll catch you next week.